Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today for our virtual cooking class. My name is Kate Watts. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist with the Live Life Well team here at Cone Health. Today's theme is how many sides can we make in 30 minutes? No, today's theme is summer favorites. But clearly I have a lot of summer favorites and really enjoy the summer produce this time of year in North Carolina. So I kept picking recipes. So we're going to do quite a few different things today. I sent you recipes for the broccoli and grape salad, for a Mexican street corn on the cob. And I'm also going to throw in, and I'll send you this after class along with the recording, a sweet potato fry recipe because I had some sweet potatoes I needed to use up and it's very simple and easy to do. And then we're going to end with a favorite summertime treat, homemade fruit popsicles. So if you are watching online, we do record these classes and post them to the Live Life Well YouTube channel. You can find all the recipes down in the description below. And if you're here live, welcome. Thank you for joining your lunchtime with me. And feel free to ask questions or put comments in the chat box. And then I'll leave time at the end for question and answer. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to first preheat our oven for the sweet potato fries. And what I've done is actually gone ahead and put my baking sheet in the oven so that it will heat up as well. So we're going to put our oven on 425 degrees Fahrenheit and let that preheat. Now you can line your pan with aluminum foil for less mess, but I find that they get a little crispier if you can do it straight on the pan with the pan heated ahead of time. So we're going to let that heat up and we're going to go ahead and cook our corn on the cob. Now, there's a few different ways that you can cook fresh corn on the cob. You can grill it, you can boil it, or you can microwave it. And usually I like to boil my corn on the stove. You just bring a pot of water to a boil and then you place in your husked corn on the cob, trim off the ends, and throw it in the pot to boil for 10 minutes. Drain it, and you're good to go. But if you've never microwaved corn on the cob before, I'm about to blow your mind a little bit. So what I have here is my fresh corn on the cob from the farmer's market right down the street. And I'm not going to do anything to it. I have not touched this. I have put it in a microwave safe dish. And you don't even need the dish. You could do it on the turntable, but we're going to pop this in the microwave for 5 minutes. Then we're going to cut off the end and it's going to come out of the husk beautifully without all those strings and everything. And then we're going to flavor it up according to the Mexican street corn recipe. Now, the original recipe I gave you says to grill the corn to get that nice char, which is a great option. So we're going to pop this in the microwave for 5 minutes. Okay, and you're going to start to smell it. It's going to be a nice earthy smell from the husk. The husk is acting as like a little steam pocket. So if you buy the corn on the cob without the husk on it for you for the convenience, and you want to microwave it, you can just wrap it in a damp paper towel and that will give it the steaming effect. Okay. All right, so our corn is cooking. We're going to do our broccoli and grape salad. So what I have here is some chopped up broccoli florets and chopped red onion. I went ahead and did step number 1 of our recipe, which is to bring a medium pot of water to a boil, add in your broccoli and onion, and cook until bright green and tender crisp about 2 minutes. Then I put this into an ice bath. So I just had a bowl of ice water next to the fridge. After I drained my cooked broccoli, we put that into the ice bath to quickly chill it. And then I let it sit in the ice water till all the ice had melted, drained it, dried it. Here you go. You can completely skip that step if you would like, okay? The extra step just gives this a softer bite, especially the onions as well being in there, and it makes it a brighter green color. But you can absolutely skip that step altogether and put in your raw broccoli florets and chopped red onion, and the recipe is still very delicious. So I went ahead and did that step. Now we're going to add together the ingredients for the dressing. Let me admit one more person here. And so part of that is going to be adding then grapes and sliced almonds to finish. We are going to go ahead and toast these almonds. So I have a little small skillet on the stove. We're going to put that to medium heat. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a few of the sliced almonds in there, and it won't take long at all. I'm just going to let them toast till I can smell them, till it's fragrant in here, okay? So we're just going to do about a fourth a cup, kind of cover the bottom of the pan. They're not going to change too much in color. It's really just going to bring out that flavor, and that aroma is going to add to the dish as well. So just a quick little toast on our almonds. Okay. All right, let's add in the ingredients for the dressing, if you will, for the salad. So this is going to be plain Greek yogurt. Okay, we're going to do about a fourth a cup. It says whole milk. I'm actually using non-fat just because that's what I like to buy. So either one is fine. So this recipe is very similar to a lot of broccoli salads that you see, but you'll notice that we're getting flavor from a little bit healthier sources of fat from the almonds, versus say like cheese and bacon that you sometimes see in the recipes. We also are using less mayonnaise. We're still going to add in 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, but then we are using Greek yogurt to be the main component of our dressing. So this is going to add in a little extra protein. I'm doing a lower fat version. Keep it heart healthy. Okay, let's add in our 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. So this dish is one of my summer favorites because it's a great cold lunch option. It's filling with all the fiber. It's flavorful, but it's not too heavy for a hot summer day. It also makes an excellent side dish for a cookout. Sorry, I'm at the bottom of my mayonnaise jar. Been making a lot of tuna salad and tomato sandwiches. Okay, it's also great for a potluck, a cookout. So I'm actually doing like half the recipe, but you can make a much bigger batch, and it's a real crowd pleaser. All right, so we've got our yogurt, our mayonnaise. We're going to add in a tablespoon and a half of apple cider vinegar. And because we're not heating this is going to add a good little probiotic boost. All right. So 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar. Then we're going to add in 1.5 tablespoons. The recipe calls for honey. I'm actually going to use a light blue agave today. It's very similar to honey or maple syrup. It has a milder flavor, in my opinion. We're going to be using it for the popsicles, so we're just going to go ahead and use it for this recipe as well. So we'll do 1.5 tablespoons of that. Our corn is done. I'm just going to let it cool a bit in the microwave before we take it out and handle it. But it's already done. Okay, and then we're going to do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, mix it together. All right. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball here. The recipe calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. I'm going to really do kind of the opposite. So more like 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Okay. All right, so let's whisk up our dressing here. So it is going to be a creamy dressing with some sweetness to it. Okay, there we go. It's going to be very liquidy. So now we're going to add this to our broccoli and onion mixture. And then we're going to add in our grapes. And don't worry, I didn't forget about our almonds. They are perfect. Perfect timing. So just very slightly browned. A few of them a little bit of a char since I didn't really stir them much. They smell really good. Okay, so we're going to add in, we'll do about half of those. Okay, and then we're going to add in our hacked red grapes. Go ahead and do all of those. All right, we're just going to give it a little stir here. Get everything nice and combined. So I like this take, a little bit different take on kind of the broccoli salads that I grew up with. It's still very colorful, still a nice, bright, crisp, summery side dish. Oh, it smells really good, those almonds. All right, so let's get this into a bowl. There we are. Lovely, right? Okay, I'm gonna plate up everything else as we go, then we'll give it a little taste. Okay, next up, sweet potatoes. So I've got my sweet potato here. I've washed it. I'm gonna leave the skin on. I'm gonna go ahead and get my baking sheet out of the preheated oven. Okay, so what we're gonna do is cut up our sweet potato. I'm gonna cut off the ends. Okay, I'm gonna cut it in half. So now I can give myself a nice flat surface to work with. And then we're gonna cut it into the fries. And you can absolutely peel the sweet potato if you like. I like the skins. And that's where a lot of the fiber and nutrition is. And, it's just the lazy person's way of making sweet potato fries to take out the most labor intensive step, the peeling, right? So we've got sweet potato fries going into a bowl. Just trying to make them all about the same size so that they cook up pretty evenly in the oven. All we're going to do here is flavor them with a tiny bit of oil of your choice. I'm going to use avocado oil. That's also what we're going to use on the Mexican street corn. Grapeseed oil works really well in this recipe. And then you can add whatever spices and flavorings really you want. I keep it pretty simple with just salt and pepper. So let's do a tablespoon of our oil, actually about 2 tablespoons per medium sweet potato. And then we're going to do a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and then whatever other flavorings you like. I really prefer paprika and cumin on my sweet potatoes. I'm just going to do a little bit of paprika today on them. I really like the color it gives them too. Okay, then with your clean hands, go ahead and toss that. I find tossing it in a bowl works a little better than trying to do it on the baking sheet, especially since we've already preheated this particular baking sheet. Again, if you want to put down aluminum foil, you can do so, but you probably want to cook it with some nonstick cooking spray. Once that's tossed, we're just going to throw it into our pan. Okay, so remember, it's hot, so don't touch it. All right, we're going to add our sweet potato fries, and then you just want to make sure that they are spread so that they're not really touching each other. That's how they're going to get nice and crispy. So we want them in a single layer across the baking sheet. We don't want them too crowded. If you are making a larger batch, then just use multiple pans or do multiple batches in the oven. so they're not touching. They'll get nice and crispy. Okay, so we're going to pop these in the oven. They cook at 425 for 15 to 25 minutes. You do want to rotate them halfway through, kind of toss them around. And so I'm going to do a timer for 10 minutes, toss them around, and then do another 10. So I already have a batch made that we're going to plate up. Go ahead and put my timer on for that batch. So let's take a look at these when they're all said and done. Okay, so here they are after this was just 20 minutes in the oven. A really good char on them. If they get a little black, it's really just good caramelized flavor. So you can get them as well done as you'd like. So let's put these on a plate. And sweet potato fries. This was a recipe I learned to make in college, and I've come back to time and time again. You can always get sweet potatoes in season. It's a great side dish, especially for like a cookout in the summer. I like to do this with salmon burger recipes, black bean burger recipes, regular hamburger recipes. So if you're craving some fries of any kind, this is a really easy option and really great in the summertime. So there's our plate of sweet potato fries and whatever dipping choice you would like to pair with it. Okay, we're doing this. We're doing great on time. Let's get to our corn. Okay, so we're going to take our cooked corn out of the microwave. It's very hot. Make sure you use oven mitts. All right, we're going to place our corn on our cutting board. Okay, we're going to use a towel or an oven mitt to hold the corn, and we're going to cut the stem side off, so not where all the like top mess is, but the actual stem. So you're going to find the corn cob. You want to go in about 1 inch, and we're going to cut that off. So there we go. It's steaming if you can't tell. And then a couple different ways you can just squeeze this right out of the husk. It's pretty cooled off now. And that will really help to get a lot of the strings off of the corn cob. You can, of course, cut the husk and just unwrap it if you'd like. But I think this kind of weirder method really keeps all the stringy parts more contained. Okay, so I have like maybe one string to pull off there. We're going to cut off the other end. Oh, yum. Okay, so there's our corn on the cob. To plate it, I'm actually going to take the outer layer of this husk kind of as like a garnish. So the part that doesn't have all the strings in it. And I'm just going to layer that on my plate. Okay. And then I'm going to put the corn on top of that. All right, lovely. Get this out of the way. Okay, so there's our corn on the cob out of the microwave, believe it or not. And to make it our Mexican street corn, we're going to garnish it up with some flavoring. So typically this would be, like the traditional recipe would be mayonnaise and butter. Of course, we're going to do a lighter, healthier version. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of avocado oil, just like our recipe says, and we're going to brush it onto the corn. Okay. Go all the way around if you want. Could be nice and shiny. Okay, then we're going to take our seasonings. I'm going to omit the salt. I'm just going to do the chili powder, and I'm not even going to bother to mix it together in a bowl. I'm just going to sprinkle it right on top. And then we're going to do a little bit of cayenne. If you want it spicier, you can do more. I'm just going to do just a little taste. If you don't want it spicy at all, you could do paprika instead for the color that it's going to give. All right, and then we're going to garnish with lemon zest, lemon juice, and cilantro. If you are not a big cilantro person, then you can use parsley. That would be a good alternative there. Okay, oh, that smells amazing. Okay, so a little bit of, oh, and I am using lemons. That's just what I had. The recipe calls for limes. I know, it's like, is this really a Mexican street corn recipe? Maybe we'll just call this a summer corn recipe. Kate's summer corn. But yes, so I'm using lemon instead of lime, but traditionally you would do lime in this recipe. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of juice. And this, it says just to do like a lime wedge on the side as garnish, and then you can squeeze it onto your corn when you're ready to eat it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this because we're going to need some lemon juice for our popsicles. Okay. The other half. And then the final touch to this is our cotija cheese, Mexican cheese. You can find it in most grocery stores. However, I was at Aldi shopping for this class and they did not have it. So alternatives would be a crumbled goat cheese like I'm going to use today. And this is one of my favorite things to buy from Aldi anyway. So I'm glad to have it on hand. Or if you're not big on goat cheese, you can use Parmesan cheese or feta cheese. Okay. So we're going to do a little sprinkle of cheese. And on that hot corn, it's going to kind of start to melt in a little bit. And then you would do a little squeeze of your lime. So I'm just going to put a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, oop, a little bit or a lot of it. And there is our beautiful Mexican street corn taco. Let's put that over there. I'm going to clear my space, show you all our dishes, and in our last few minutes, pull together some homemade popsicles. Okay, so let's move this stuff out of the way. Okay. Okay, so for our summer favorites, we've got a broccoli and grape salad, sweet potato fries, oven baked, and a Mexican street corn on the cob. So there we go. A nice little trio of veggies. This would go great with any kind of grilled meat at all, like a shrimp skewer or chicken skewers, burgers, some nice baked salmon, which is what we'll probably do with some of this tonight. So I hope that you enjoy this and give it a try. Let me try this salad. Delicious. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Super easy. That'll keep in the fridge a couple of days. A little bit of ketchup on our fries. Mm-hmm. Crispy outside, well cooked inside. I love the char that you get in the oven baked version of these. And then, do y'all really want me to try this corn on the cob in front of you? Let's go for it, right? Why not? Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Y'all gotta try the corn. You gotta try that recipe. If you like spice, it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay. Let's cool it down with some homemade popsicles. So my 5-year-old and myself made these yesterday. I'm going to show you what we did. If you can make a smoothie, you can make a homemade popsicle. We love making fruit popsicles. If you don't have popsicle molds, I think these were $1 that I found on Marketplace. They might have been from like IKEA or something, but you can find them very affordably. If you don't have some molds for the popsicles, you can use any kind of cup. You can buy the paper cups. You can use a muffin pan. And all you do is once you pour your mixture in, you cover it with aluminum foil, poke a little hole in it, and that's what you stick your popsicle stick into, and it'll hold it into place while they freeze. So you can get some popsicle sticks really cheap and make you some popsicles without a mold. But you are going to need some kind of blender of some kind. I'm just going to use my little personal sized blender. I've got some peaches in here that I cut up and actually froze. And then I've got some fresh strawberries. So the recipe calls for about 2.5 cups of fruit. So we're doing a strawberry peach blend. And then it calls for 3/4 a cup of yogurt of your choice. Now we are adding a sweetener, so you could do the plain yogurt again here. However, I really like this coconut 2 grams of sugar brand Too Good. So that's what we're going to use. The recipe also calls for vanilla extract. And I think this does kind of give a really nice flavor and helps with the sweetness factor because you don't want them to be too tart and sweet. So the recipe calls for 1/4 a cup of vanilla extract and then a 1/4 a teaspoon of vanilla extract and then a 1/2 teaspoon of your lemon juice. Okay. And you could do a little extra lemon juice if you want to, because the recipe does not call for liquid. However, my blender really needs liquid, so you could add in just water. You could add in a juice of some kind. I'm going to actually add in 100% pure coconut water just to make my blender happy. Okay, so I did about 1/2 cup there. And then this would be sweet enough for us, but I do like the sweetness that the blue agave gives. And it says 4 to 6 tablespoons. I don't think you need that much. I'm going to do about 2. Okay, let's blend this up. Take it over to my blender here. Okay. So this particular combination makes a really pretty light pink color. We're going to pour it into our molds. So the great thing about this is you freeze it for, 4 hours or so or overnight, and you've got a lovely popsicle. And whatever you have left, you can drink as a smoothie right then. So we're going to pour these into our molds. Pop the tops on. Those go into the freezer. And then we'll pull one out. So popsicles are very easy. You just can trial and error your ingredient portions or ratio, I should say, until you find the right level of sweetness, creaminess, tartness that you like. All right, so let's put these in the fridge. And here's one of our popsicles from yesterday. So to get it out of the mold, you just run it under warm water for 5-10 seconds. And it slides right out. So there's our homemade peach, strawberry, coconut popsicle, if you will. I love the coconut flavor. This is definitely not too sour. It's a really nice level of sweetness. So thank you for joining me today. We got through a lot. I hope that you enjoy trying these recipes at home. Let me know if you have questions or comments. I see there is a question in the Q&A section here. A good substitute for almonds if you can't eat nuts. Okay, let's see. So you'd want something crunchy. Honestly, if you like coconut, you could do like a shredded coconut. You could also do the, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but the little, it's in a lot of Asian dishes. It's like the little crunchy, they're not onions. It's not like a green bean casserole. It's like the little, oh gosh, it's like the little Asian crunchy. See if I can find it for you. Put it in the chat if y'all know what I'm talking about. That you can buy as a topper. Any other ideas that y'all have that would bring a nice crunch that's not nuts? Can you do seeds, or is that a no as well? Because you could do sesame seeds or pumpkin seeds in this recipe that would work. Sesame sticks. Thank you, Mary. I was really drawing a blank there. So those would all be some good options, or anything that you can find that adds a little bit of crunch and a little savoriness to cut the sweetness. Water chestnuts would be a great option as well. Yes, thank you, Mary. Awesome. Thank y'all so much. If you want to rewatch this, you can check us out on YouTube. It's Cone Health Live Life Well. And then I will send out the recording for everyone that registered, along with the recipes, including the added sweet potato fries. All right. Thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your day.